Hey guys, Moneyman300 back for some more videos, and this time we're going to talk about Project Cars. This is a game that's coming up that I'm really excited about, and I think a lot of other people are. It looks like it has a ton of potential. It comes out March 17th, so it's really just right around the corner, just under 2 months away. Actually, March 17th in the United States and March 20th across Europe. I do not know about the other regions, sorry. I'll have to do some research on that. But yeah, so I wanted to start talking about that, and I'm going to do, maybe 3 videos on this. I kind of want to break it up. I didn't want to do one like 30 or 45 minute video. I'd rather break it down into a little bit smaller increments, just to talk about what the game is, what it's about, and just give you guys an overview of what I know about the game so far. I've done a fair amount of research. I've been following the Project Cars crew on Twitter, keeping up with the activity on Reddit and NeoGAF and other places. So first off, just to give you guys a little bit of taste, here is their most recent trailer. So we'll watch this real quick, and then I'll talk about, just a quick overview of the game in this video. We'll talk about just the high level stuff, and then we'll get down into tracks, cars, and game features in a couple of future videos. So anyways, here's the trailer, and we'll come back in just a second and talk about it a little more after that. All right, so that's pretty cool. Let's get into some more details about the game. I already mentioned coming out on March 17th and March 20th, and the game is developed by British studio Slightly Mad Studios, and that is the game developers that worked on the Need for Speed Shift series. So they do have experience in the racing world, and don't take that as meaning that this game's going to be like Need for Speed Shift. It is a completely different game, completely different engine rewritten by Slightly Mad, and then it's also distributed by Bandai Namco Games. It does not have a big name publisher, so that makes it kind of interesting in a couple different ways. So there's no Microsoft, no Sony, no EA, no Activision, no big time name publisher on this. It's independently, they're publishing it themselves, so they're their own publisher. So that's interesting, in that they don't have to worry about the control of that publisher, but they also don't have the backing of that publisher behind them for the advertising and just a huge amount of funding. So for that reason, because it wasn't a big publisher behind it, this was a crowd-funded game. You might be familiar with crowdfunding options such as Kickstarters. They elected to use something called World this is WMD, World of Mass Development. So they raised, I believe, just over $5 million initially to have this game, and that's funded by the community. So the game is really funded and directed, and by directed I mean they took lots of input from the community. So if you were one of the early people that contributed to this game, you got builds of the game, which is why you see lots of different things out on YouTube, and they're still recent. They're still, you know, have released some different builds that people are still trying out there. So it's been in the hands of the community, giving feedback, and I believe this has been in the works for about 4 years. It was originally slated for the 360 and the PS3, but I believe those versions have been canceled as not. So the platforms is coming out on, it is multi-platform, Windows PC, PlayStation 4, the Xbox One. Those are the release day platforms, and then the SteamOS and the Wii U to follow on later in 2015. So although it's cross-platform, there is no cross-platform multiplayer, so you can't play PS4 guys against Xbox One guys. You're limited within your platform for multiplayer. So thought I would get that out there. But that's the high level things about it. So what is Project Cars then? As we take a look at it, I mean, what is it? What kind of game is it? Well, it's a simulation. So first off, they are targeting as a racing simulation, similar in some aspects to a Forza 5 or GT on the PlayStation, and then the iRacing and other simulators on the PC. So it is a simulation like. They are aiming it in that crowd. So, and if you go to their FAQ on their website, it does talk a lot about that. They're kind of a mix. So I think I've seen them state several times that they want it to be simulation-like, but they also want it to be approachable. They want people to be able to get in and play it. And I think games like Forza have done a great job of that, adding in the assists and the things that make it a little more approachable for the newer players to be able to get in there. And I believe Project Cars is heading that same route. So it's a simulation. You can see the graphics look beautiful. I mean, they've really done a great job on there. It's going to have, an offline mode, a multiplayer mode. When I say offline, I mean a career mode, a solo mode, and a multiplayer mode. So 3 different types of modes, lots of cars, lots of tracks, and that's what I'm going to go over in the upcoming videos out there. So we'll go over how many cars do they have, how many tracks do they have. I'll dive into the features a little bit more, and we'll talk about some of the gameplay aspects of it and what's going to make this, why this versus Forza 5, or what's going to make this different. And we don't know. We don't have the features of Forza 6, so we really can't go there, but we could talk about it in relation to some of the things that are in Forza 5 and other games. So we're going to wrap it up with that. Just want to get a quick overview out there, give you guys a quick look at it, and then we'll have a couple follow-on videos to dive a little bit deeper into this. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.